I'm Nikki and welcome to the Preppy Possum. Today I'm going to lead you step by step through a painting. Alright, let's paint some orange pumpkins. So let's start out by grabbing a pretty good size brush, so like a number 8, and dry it off. And let's grab some orange. And we're gonna start by throwing, like skip up just a smidge from the bottom of your canvas and then skip in a little bit from the left. So skip up a couple inches and in a couple inches, and we're gonna throw a huge circle. So go big. Don't be scared, you want a big pumpkin. It's better to go too big because we're gonna eat away at it anyway. But we want a huge circle. I think that's a pretty good start. You just want it to fill up a lot of your canvas. And then once you have that first one, let's go ahead and throw a smaller one right up here that just kind of connects right there. It's like you're giving it one Mickey Mouse ear. So we're gonna go ahead and throw our little pumpkin up there, and then grab a bunch of orange and we're going to go ahead and fill them both in just to get some paint on there. And don't worry about like what it looks like right now, because we're going to come back and throw a bunch of paint over it. So we got that one all filled in. Now let's fill in our big pumpkin with some orange. Layer through all of our orange. So let's wipe that one off and chunk it in the water. And let's grab a humongous brush and dry it off. And we're gonna grab some dark green. So you want some really dark green, and we're gonna get all of our background. You're just grabbing a lot of paint, and don't worry about like which direction, because we're going to come back and throw a bunch of leaves on here. Start out by getting all the big areas, then I can get up closer to my pumpkins. Get all the the big areas first, and then you can get all the way up next to the pumpkins. And when you're getting up next to those pumpkins, don't leave any white between your green and your orange. Almost gotten all of our green. Alright, so now that we have our background, let's go ahead and wipe that one off and chunk it in the water. Now that we have our pumpkins in our background, now let's go ahead and add our little lines through our pumpkin to make it really look like pumpkin. So let's grab like a number 4, and we're gonna grab some caramel brown. It's kind of like a lighter brown kind of color. And we're gonna start by skipping down into our big pumpkin, at least like 3 inches or so. And I would make a little mark. So skip down like 3 inches or so, make you a little mark. And then once you get that mark, then we're gonna throw a line that barely leans out to the left. So it just leans out to the left and all the way down. And we're gonna do the same thing on the right-hand side. So let it just lean down and out. And then we're gonna keep doing that. So it kind of looks like one of those Tingler head massagers. You just want it to go. Start from your little point. And we're just gonna curve it out. So at first it's gonna start out kind of looking like a smush basketball. That means you're doing it right. Alright, so we have all of our little lines through our big one. Now we're going to do the same kind of thing over here through our small one. I would just start out like over here on the left hand side. We're going to have like a little mark right here, so kind of pretend like it goes from here to here, because this pumpkin's kind of laying on its side. So we're going to throw a line that barely leans up. So just up and over. And then we'll do the same thing underneath. You just want one that droops down. And then we'll just go ahead and throw us another droopy one. And then we'll throw a couple more that lean up. And whenever you're doing these lines, don't worry if you get a little bit thick, because we can come back and thin them down. But that's a good little start to our lines. Now let's go ahead and throw our stems on there. So we're gonna grab some darker brown. And right here where all of our little lines intersect, we're gonna skip down from that just a little bit. And we're gonna throw a bumpy little whoop. Kind of like a little smiley face that's bumpy. Just right there. And then right along that, then I'm gonna throw a little, kind of like a little backward C off the edge. And then I'm gonna bump it on up for just an inch or so. And then I'm just gonna do a little whoop right back into our little smiley. And I'll go ahead and fill this all in just with a little layer of paint. And then we'll go ahead and skip over here to the right hand side and throw a bumpy little whoop through the edge. Alright, so now we have a good little start to our stems. You could even, while you have that one on your brush, grab a little bit lighter, like some tan and off-white, and bump a little bit of light through the top part of your stem. And then you can even do a few light streaks. We can come back and work on our stem again later though. That's a good start to it. So then let's go ahead and wipe that one off and chunk it in the water. And let's grab a little bit bigger size brush, so like a number 6, and dry it off. And now we're gonna grab some more orange. And we're gonna kind of start down here at the bottom center. And right in between our 2 lines, we're just gonna throw a line that droops just a little bit. So you want it to droop. And then once you have that, we're gonna do the same thing in between the next 2. I will let it droop over the edge. And you can even grab a little bit of caramel brown with the orange for this part. But just in between where they touch, we're just gonna flare it out just a little bit. You can kind of do that through all your edges. Just up here at the top, it just kind of barely goes out. And then we'll do the same thing kind of through our little one. Just throw some at the bottom over here. So you can kind of, that caramel and the orange, just because it'd be a little bit darker on the bottom of the pumpkin. And then I would throw a little bit dark, like near your stem. And so just near the ends, because it's going to be brighter through the middle, a little bit darker on the edges. So now we have it kind of bumped out. So let's just wipe that one off a little. And we're gonna grab more of the orange and gold to kind of give us a real pumpkin color. And we're just gonna thicken up our orange between each of our sections. And whenever you're doing this, this is when you can thin up those caramel lines if they got a little thick. So we're just kind of thickening up our pumpkin in between the little sections. So each little section. And this is when you can kind of eat away at the edge of the caramel if it got big anywhere. We have another layer of orange through there, so then we can just wipe off our extra, and let's grab some white and yellow. And we're going to add a few light little streaks just towards the top of our sections, just kind of where the sun or the moonlight would hit it. So just along the top. And we're going to go ahead and throw this on here, but then we're going to come back in a second when it dries and we can like add a few more, because it's going to dry a little bit darker than it goes on. And then we'll throw just a little bit through the middle of these little sections too. All right. Now, let's let that dry for a sec. We'll wipe that one off. And now let's work on our leaves a little bit. So we'll use that same brush and just kind of wipe it off. And now let's grab kind of some slimy limey green with some medium green. And we're going to throw some leaves on here. So you can start up here at the top. If you just want to jump in a little bit, bump it on down, bump it over. Whenever you're doing these leaves, you just want them all a different shape is really all we're going for. But I would throw one on there and then get some paint. Get it all filled in with a little layer. And then we'll skip down and have us a few that kind of look like they're going around a few little fingers, kind of pointing in, so they can kind of overlap the edge of your pumpkin a little bit. But everybody will have like different size leaves, just kind of, as long as they all look a little different. And then down here at the bottom, let's throw like a big leaf. Kind of start with like a little stick man, so like a little head, body, some arms, some legs. And then just go around it to make our little leaf. So that way we have a big leaf down here at the bottom. This dry a little bit. It looks like it's got a lot of paint on there, so we might have to come back to it. But now let's go ahead and skip and throw us a few, like we can have a leaf kind of going into the top edge of this pumpkin. And I'm gonna get them all on here first, and then we're gonna come back and add lights to them. So you're just kind of getting your little shapes on here first. Let's have one that leans into our pumpkin over here on this side. Let's throw a couple over here. So don't worry if your leaves look a little different, just as long as you have like a bunch of different shapes. That's all we're going for. But now we kind of have our first little layer on all of our leaves. We can let that dry for a sec. So just wipe that one off and chunk that one in the water. Now, while we're waiting on our leaves to dry another sec, let's go ahead and put a little bit more light color on our pumpkins. So I would grab like a number 6 and dry it off. And let's get some more of that like golden yellow with even a little bit of white. And we're gonna add a little bit more light, just kind of where we had like the sun or the moon hitting it. So up towards the top. But whenever you're adding these light streaks, make sure you have some that are like different lengths so that it's not all one length. And we'll come in and we can blend these a little bit better too. But we're just gonna add it right where it's hitting it. Then we'll add a little bit of light back in through the middle of this one too. So our little pumpkin. And then we can blend that a little bit better, so you can grab like a little bit more orange on your brush, and anywhere where it got a little thick, I would kind of blend it just a little bit. All right. And then I would blend like our little pumpkin just a little bit better too. All right. So that's a good start to our brights. We could even blend it. What? Got a little too much yellow right there. Can blend it a little bit better at the top, anywhere where it needed to be, where it was a little too harsh. All right, now let's wipe that one off, chunk it in the water, and we're gonna grab like a number 4 size brush again. So number 4, and dry it off, and we're gonna grab some light green with a little bit of off-white. So you want like some slimy limey green and some off-white. And now through the edges of all of our leaves, we're just gonna load our brush with a lot of paint and be real light and loosey-goosey. And we're just gonna throw like a wavy little bit of light towards the edges. We're just going to do that through the edge of all of our leaves. So the lighter greens with some off-white, and just load your brush with a lot of paint, and then you're just being real light and loosey-goosey. Just kind of barely touching it. Don't try to think about it too much. Just kind of go for it. You can almost use a bigger brush, like a number 6 if you wanted to in a few places, just to get a thicker line so it's not quite as small and perfect. But a number 4 is good for most of it. Now that we have, well, we just have like one more leaf, I think, to get a little bit of the light through the edge. Once we get that, we can use those same lighter colors, and now we want to add like some stems and some vines. So like down here through our big leaf, we'll throw a little bit of a stem through the middle. Then you can throw some light little veins kind of through your leaf. Just being real light and loosey-goosey. And then we'll do the same thing, like you want some little vines to kind of connect a few of the leaves. It's like up here off this one. We're just gonna go over the edge of our pumpkin. You can have some curlicue vines. And you just want to add some light little veins to most of them. go ahead and have like a little vine coming into this one. There's some little just anywhere where you have like a big space, I would kind of throw you like a little curly cue or a little part of a vine. So everybody's will be a little bit different, but just be kind of light and loosey-goosey and throw you some vines in a few places. Let's see, this one, let's have a few little veins. And we can come back and add more different color greens too to make it look less perfect. But just kind of load your brush with a lot of paint and be real light and loosey-goosey. And that's how you'll get those good marks. I think we have a good start to our veins in our leaf. So let's go ahead and hit our stem one more time. So wipe off your extra. And let's grab some more of that dark brown. And we're just going to throw a few little bits of dark. And then anywhere where you need to touch up, like at the top part, if you want to bump a little bit more of that tan and off-white, I would bump a little bit more of that. You just want to make sure you have some lights and darks through your stem. Let's let that dry for just a second and then we can touch it up. So then I would grab like a teeny tiny brush, like a #1, and whatever color, and I would sign it and hang it up. And now we have some pumpkins. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Be sure to check us out. We're on Cox Street in Asheboro. And be sure to check out our website, www.thepreppypossum.com.